Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today is part 2 of me showing you the nail polishes that have been released very recently by Chanel, certainly in the UK. I got all 7 of the new release and I showed you 3 of them a couple of videos ago. Those were the 3 I initially purchased from the website. They seem to me the most summery ones. You'll recollect there was a very pretty teal blue, a very pretty jade green, and kind of peachy corally orange colour, peachy orange colour that we looked at. Now I also ordered another 3 from the Chanel website. One of them, by the time I ordered, called Sailor, was sold out, and I had to get that from John Lewis. So here are the remaining colours. It's quite an eclectic mix, really. And I'm wearing one of them today that I painted on last night. Which, as you can see, is a dark blue. It's showing a little lighter in the viewfinder than it actually looks in real life. It's very dark, and I think in some lights, quickly looking at the hands, you wouldn't actually know it was blue. It just looks like a very dark colour on the nails, which I actually think possibly makes this more wearable in different situations. If, for example, you might feel like me a bit awkward in wearing blue nail polish at work or in a formal situation, you could probably get away with this. So this one is called Rhythm, and there it is. You can see it's a very rich blue in the bottle. I have to say, when I was applying it, I was a bit worried how it would apply, because it does come across, I don't know if you can see that, as quite watery. It's not a terribly thick polish, although this is just 2 coats that you see. So it applied okay. I'll be interested to see how it removes, because some of the more kind of thinner but dark polishes that Chanel have done in recent years, there was a purple one a couple of years ago, don't remove very well. They stain the nails quite badly. So I don't know what the answer to that will be. I looked as usual in my collection thinking, well, there must be one that I've got that's very similar to this. I don't wear a lot of blue, but I have a good tray full of them. I don't know how Chanel does it really, because there are lots of previous blues, but none of them, certainly the ones I've got, are exactly the same. I had thought that this one, Fortissimo, would be very, very similar, and it is the most similar of them, as you can see. Actually looking more similar in the viewfinder, but perhaps you can see there, Fortissimo has micro shimmer in it, whereas this new one is completely, what's the word, non-shimmery. It's not a matte, it's shiny, but it doesn't have shimmer. I guess they may be quite similar on the nails. So if you have Fortissimo and love it, you might want to get it, or conversely, you might think, well, I've already got one which is very similar. The others that I picked out, you can see Magic is totally different, a much more, what would we say, mid-toned blue. I also pulled out Radiant Blue from last year. Again, that's looking more similar in the viewfinder than it, there we go. You can see that, again, Radiant Blue has a micro shimmer and it's more mid-toned as well. So not really that similar. And of the Magic I've shown you, of the older blues, Blue Rebel, again, is that kind of mid-tone. So they've done a few of those before. You may remember Belle Argus as well. The tone of that is very similar, but of course it's a very, very metallic take and looks nothing like this one does on the nails. So there we go. I didn't have exactly the same, but Fortissimo is similar. Then Sailor is the one that I couldn't get on the website. It's sold out, although it is in fact a red, which you'd think most of us who are Chanel fans have already got reds, reds coming out of our ears. But again, when I looked at my collection, nothing exactly the same. These two kind of similar, but this one, which is Tapage, a few years ago, I think at Christmas, if I'm not wrong, a sort of more corally red than this more mid crimson red. Fire is quite an old one, similar again, but a tad more orange, I felt. You might have Dragon, which is an older but classic. Very similar. Again, a bit darker than this Sailor. Rouge Ruby is a relatively new one. I thought those two were quite similar. If you've got Rouge Ruby, you probably don't need Sailor. And a very old one, which I actually thought was probably the most similar. Looks almost identical to me, but probably a lot of you won't have this. 58 will tell you it's many years ago, and it's called Rouge d'Or. Very, very similar. So, you know, red is red. Chanel do beautiful reds. It's a beautiful red. If you've got any of those that I've just shown you, you may not need this one, but you may want it in any event. And it's certainly a very pretty, lively red. I haven't worn it yet. I haven't worn any of the others apart from Rhythm that I've shown you. Then a pink. This is called Energy. There we go. This is much more kind of obvious to me, summery, or maybe spring colour. It's quite a cool toned pink, I think. Pretty. I can't wait to wear this one. I pulled out a few pinks that some of you might have. Here's Splendor, which I thought was quite similar. Certainly in the bottle. That's a few years old now, 2017. I should look up when they came out. This is a very old one called Boa. I think a bit more corally, although you can see this one's separating a bit. It's so old, so the age may have affected it a bit. Definitely looks a lighter pink to me than this one. Then Kabuki, another old one, slightly bluer in tone, so looking a bit more lilac-y as a pink. And this was the one I was thinking of when I initially saw. This is Pulsion. Again, a tad more yellowy, pinky, less blue toned than this one. But you will undoubtedly have some pinks in your arsenal that look similar, but again, very, very pretty. These are all kind of translucent or creamy. None of these, this release has any micro shimmer or any of those effects that I think are so nice in Chanel polishes, actually. So slightly disappointed by that. Here's the last one. This is called Vibration. I don't see this as particularly summery, although it's a tone and shade that I like very much and I feel suits my skin tone because it's quite a kind of blue-toned berry colour. I would associate this far more with autumn, winter or spring really than summer. But anyway, pleased to have Vibration. Again, I thought, well, I will have loads similar to this in my arsenal. Singular, as you can see, much darker. I immediately thought of April. Where is it? Here we go. When I saw this on the website, April's a great favourite of mine, but as you can see, much more yellowy red in reality. I have backups of April. This was one of my favourites. Looks really great on the nails, but not that like it in reality. Coup de Coeur, again a favourite, not that dissimilar to April really, so not surprising. And you can see similar, but definitely a more bricky, yellowy shade to the berry in that one. And then to just show you, this is the same shade range, but where they have got the micro shimmer. So I need to shake up. Fantastic. So if you look at those side by side, you can see it's really the same shade, but Fantastic has the famous micro shimmer, which often on the nails translates to just looking more shiny. So it may be these will look more similar actually on the nail than they do in the bottle. But I thought that was an interesting contrast. And I pull this one out as well. This is definitely a darker shade to begin with, but has fantastic micro shimmer in it. One of my all-time favourites. I have backups of this. It's an old one now, so it's starting to separate Gondola from many moons ago. But I think it's a very similar base colour underneath, but the micro shimmer offers a lot more dimension. It's possibly a bit darker as well. So there you are. That's the new range. As I say, I have only worn Rhythm so far and I haven't taken it off yet. So I don't know how it's going to wear. I don't know how it's going to remove. And it'll take me a few weeks to get through wearing all these. And I'll let you know if there's anything startling to support. I'd be interested to know if any of you have picked up anything from this latest nail polish release. Those of you who are nail polish nuts like me, always interested to hear your comments. Or indeed, if any of you have picked anything stunning up from other ranges. I don't really now even bother buying nail varnish from other ranges because I've got so much Chanel. I'll never use it all up, but I know there are some really pretty colours out there. I was looking at the Essay range the other day because they were on sale, and there were some lovely, much more pastel-y colours than Chanel has gone for this summer. So until next time, bye for now.